Hello, my name is Dano, and welcome to Rule Your Sound, a place for songwriters, producers, and music lovers to learn techniques from top artists to help take your sound to the next level. Today we're going to study I Love You by Billie Eilish and pick apart some of the elements that make this song stand out so that you can apply them to your own sound. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty of this song, the overall reason why I think it's so good is because it is unstable as fuck. Billie and Finneas take you on this roller coaster of emotions throughout the song that makes it almost impossible to turn off unless you're like a robot sociopath with literally no emotions or feelings at all. Also, I would love to hear your thoughts on this song too, so please be a part of the conversation and comment below so that we can hear your thoughts. Anyway, here we go. Number 1, unstable lyric structure. PATTISON, who I truly admire, is in my opinion the go-to person for writing lyrics. He's a professor at Berklee College of Music, and he's the author of the book Writing Better Lyrics, which I love and highly recommend, and link for you down below in case you're interested. In this book, Pat talks a lot about stability versus instability and how you can create those types of emotion based on what you do with your lyrics. And according to Pat, one of the basic concepts around lyric structure is that if you have an even number of lines, the song is going to sound stable, and if you have an odd number of lines, the song is going to sound unstable. Let's look at an example so I can show you what I mean. Everyone knows the nursery rhyme, Mary Had a Little Lamb. Here we have a stable, even number of lines. There's 4, and it goes like this. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb, her fleece was white as snow. It sounds stable, resolved, finished, the end. But if we take out the last line so that there's only 3 lines instead of 4, suddenly something sounds a little off. It goes like this. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb. The listener's like, you forgot something. There's something more that you need to say to finish this out. What's going on? You have to put something there. It feels unstable, unsettled. And so if you look at the lyrics of I Love You, Billie Eilish does exactly that. Let's take, for example, the very first verse.
It's not true. Tell me I've been lied to. Crying isn't like you.
All that Billie gives us is the damn ooze. We want the rest of that verse. We want that to finish. It sounds unsettled. And that is exactly the point. That decision to have 3 lines instead of 4 was a strategic creative decision by Billie and Finneas. If we change the lyrics to be, it's not true. Tell me I've been lied to. Crying isn't like you. Baby, I love you. It doesn't sound bad. It technically works, but it loses that emotion and that feeling of instability that the artist was so desperately trying to convey. And that brings me to my next point. Lean into the instability. Every small detail in this song has a purpose. Billie and Finneas know that there's a sense of instability on that line, crying isn't like you. So what do? Let's take a listen.
Crying isn't like you.
They enhance the word you by putting this whispery reverb effect on it that literally feels like a ghost is coming in and leaving too soon. That was intentional. They want you to feel something on that word. It is such a small detail, but it is so unbelievably powerful. Number 3, intentionally deceiving chord progressions. If listeners can easily predict what's coming next, you're gonna lose their interest. It's like watching a movie that you already know how it ends. Most of you, even if you don't know anything about music theory and are just a music lover and listener, I guarantee that you're familiar with the chord progression 4-5-1. It goes like this. This chord progression is so unbelievably common that even if we're not a music theory nerd, when we hear it, we hear, all right, it's gonna go back to 1. It's gonna resolve home. In I Love You, there is this build up to the chorus that makes us feel that yes, the verses have been unstable, the song has been unstable, but we are finally gonna get the resolution that we want in the chorus. And this feeling of building up is enhanced by the upward stepwise motion in the vocal part. Let's take a listen.
Maybe won't you take it back, say you were trying to make me laugh. Nothing has to change today. I didn't mean to say
The verses were unstable, but we finally got the resolution that we wanted in the chorus. We're all happy. Except that is not what happened. Billie and Finneas are fucking with us, and they know it. Here's how the song actually goes.
Maybe won't you take it back? Say you were trying to make me laugh, and nothing else to change today. You didn't mean to say I love you.
Billie, what was that? That really hurt. They dangled this expectation of happiness right in front of our noses, made us think that we were going to get it, and as soon as we were about to get that resolution, they took it away. Instead, they landed on the 6th minor chord, which is basically the saddest chord that they could have picked. And on top of that, they added in the 7th scale degree, which makes it extra painful to listen to, and they have that throughout the entire chorus just to make you feel more like shit. So all of this brings me to my next point. Number 4, roller coaster of emotion. We all know that songs that remain flat in intensity are boring to listen to. There's nowhere to go. What I hear most common in music is a gradual buildup where it starts off soft and it gets louder. There's more elements added so that you have this like continually rising feeling. That's not a bad thing. It's great. There's movement in the song. But what I love about I Love You is that that's not how they create movement in this song. Billie and Finneas take you on this roller coaster of emotions. So instead of a gradual buildup, it's up and down, and you feel that as a listener, and I absolutely love it. The best way for me to explain this is visually through a handy dandy graph I made. So I plotted the intensity of the song, and really quickly you can see that this song starts off with very low intensity, it builds some momentum, then quickly drops all the way back down, builds again, even higher, and then again you have an even more severe drop until the end where the song fizzles out. A very simple way to build intensity is by adding layers. If you see on the chart, I also wrote down what instruments were being used during each section. In general, the more layers a part of the song has, the more intense it is, but this is not a hard and fast rule since there are many other reasons why a part of the song would grow or fall in intensity, but it's a very usable technique that you can certainly try out in your own songs. One of my favorite examples of how Billie and Finneas took us up that roller coaster is by the addition of Finneas's vocals in the second half of the first verse. Let's take a listen.
What the hell did I do?
It is so subtle, especially because Finneas is not singing any harmonies, he's just doubling Billie an octave lower, but I just love the addition to the song and the way it takes us up that roller coaster just a little bit. A really exciting part of I Love You where this technique is used is right after the chorus when all the instruments are immediately stripped away except for the bells that create this dropping feeling. Let's take a listen. It is so cool to listen to. The sudden drop catches you off guard and keeps your attention as a listener. I'm not going to go through every single part of this chart and all the ups and downs, but feel free to take a screenshot and listen to it and see if you can find exactly what they're doing to create that feeling of building intensity and then dropping it down. Number 5, unstable ending. First of all the instruments are stripped, so all you have are Billie and Finneas singing oohs. Here's what we want them to do. The song ends on a 1 chord, we're happy, we're home, and there's finally some resolution. Except that's not what happened. Billie and Finneas still landed on a 1 chord, but listen to the voicing that they used. First of all, there's no root note. They intentionally left off that C, which would give us that feeling of returning home, and instead put the 5th in the bass. We are left unsettled in some type of musical purgatory, exactly how Billie and Finneas intended. So at the end of the day, I feel like the best music is the one that really connects with the listener, and I think I Love You by Billie Eilish is a truly perfect example of that. I hope that some of the techniques that we went over today can help you elicit the emotional response from your listeners that you are hoping for. And if so, please subscribe because next week we're going to be going over Don't Start Now by Dua Lipa, and I know you don't want to miss it.